Welcome back. Lots of crazy things going on down in Vegas, that's for sure. Mike Bloomberg rolled the dice to the tune of $350 million for a major dud. He blew up in the first debate. And Elizabeth Warren basically went all in, needing a spark in her campaign. She came out firing in the debates last week. And we talked about it with Josh Kravitz. Josh and Manny joined me again to mix it up. Now, you guys are both attorneys, on top of all the other great things. Josh is running for New York City Council. Manny ran for New York City Public Advocate. So these guys know both sides of the street pretty well, and they're also attorneys, so I'm outnumbered. But she took aim at Bloomberg pretty hard last time because she needed a spark. Check out the debates in case you missed it.
To know is exactly what's lurking out there. He has gotten some number of women, dozens, who knows, to sign non-disclosure agreements, both for sexual harassment and for gender discrimination in the workplace. So, Mr. Mayor, are you willing to release all of those women from those non-disclosure agreements so we can hear their side of the story?
We have a very few non-disclosure agreements.
How many is that?
Let me finish.
How many is that?
None of them accuse me of doing anything other than maybe they didn't like the joke I told. And let me just put, there's agreements between two parties that wanted to keep it quiet, and that's up to them.
Look, to me, she went all in there. She needs dough, so there's no way she's ever getting any Bloomberg dough. She dropped a bomb on him, but apparently it worked because I guess he came out, this weekend and said he's releasing all the women from NDAs. Was this dangerous legal tactic by him?
Oh, a dangerous legal tactic? I don't know. I'm surprised, given Bloomberg's manner of running his campaign, that he wasn't more prepared for this. It just seems to me to be a blunder, and he's not known for a guy who makes blunders, and that's kind of his selling point, that he's a good manager, he's a thoughtful guy, he uses data-driven analysis to make good decisions. This seemed to me something obvious that was foreseeable would happen, and I don't understand why he wasn't out in front of it from a messaging perspective. Now, this is the choice he thinks is now the best. Now he's at a fork in the road. He thinks he's taking the best choice for him. I mean, it's very damning what we just saw, and yeah, I mean, there's really no.
If they release him, and now also Bloomberg has said that across his company, they're not going to ask women who make sexual harassment claims to sign NDAs, so they're eliminating the practice.
Right.
But Manny, what risk do these women run right now? They sign a waiver, they're not bound to it, they come out. Can he proactively sue them for slander or libel or anything like that?
It's a great question. I mean, I definitely, you showed that clip. That was definitely a gotcha moment at the debate, right? He was totally ill-prepared. You would expect a guy with that much money and that kind of level of sophistication, he would know what he was talking about. He clearly wasn't. Yeah. So now they supposedly released 3 women from NDAs. I don't really know what that means, okay? We don't know the circumstances and the facts around those NDAs. I think the bigger issue now, Elizabeth Warren and Biden are calling for a blanket release of all NDAs. Now that is going to be problematic to the extent where if you were an employee of Bloomberg and you were, encumbered by an NDA, right? And now new employees, let's say, are no longer encumbered and the statute of limitations passed. I mean, you're in a particular bind. I mean, if you had an issue and you couldn't prosecute that issue, you couldn't litigate that issue in any way, right, and you were bound and handcuffed by being an employee of Bloomberg, and now that doesn't come up, I mean, that's a major issue.
Well, that is a very interesting issue. I mean, I'm more interested in the political side, and I know Manny's going to come back to talk about the legal side, but I understand. You're right. That's a really interesting point. I mean,
it just shows the insensitivity of Bloomberg, that he has no idea kind of what he's talking about.
And we've yet to see, national polls to see what effect that debate had, but I mean, everyone was calling it disastrous. And it had the biggest viewership of any debate in a really long time. 20 million people watch. So put that all together, we'll see what the polls
probably
show
bad
coming
news,
out
probably,
soon, I'm sure.
Probably bad news for your buddy, Bernie Sanders.
What?
But
I
the
can see why
attacks
you would
are
think that.
underway in South Carolina because this was supposed to be the #1 firewall. This is where Joe Biden was going to rise like the phoenix from the ashes. And it looks like, the advertising attacks are out there heavy duty already. They're trying to keep Bernie down. This was one. Socialist Bernie Sanders is promising a lot of free stuff, and he's talking about free tuition, free health, free student loan debt, free jobs for all, free. I don't know.
Well,
he's attracting a lot of attention.
I mean, I think I addressed this before, which is give away a lot of free stuff. We give, I'll give you another one. How about the subsidies we give to the Iowa farmers because Trump starts a trade war with China? Now, you may or may not find it a good idea to start the trade war with China, but then the knock-on effect is that we have Iowa farmers who can't sell pork and corn or whatever to China, and now we're subsidizing them. That's socialism. It's just socialism for white voters in Iowa who Trump thinks he's going to vote for, right?
Think about this, right? Everything is about trade-offs. So this election is about trade-offs. Okay. The economy outside of today is doing very well. So why would you want to give up a successful economy and pretty much 4 years of prosperity for socialism that's totally out there and we have a bunch of questions that can't be answered? I don't think people are going to do it. I just don't see the trade-off.
I would say two things. Two things. First off is the average person, 50% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. The working class of America is really struggling. So you can say the economy is good, but those are corporations. That's corporate profits. That is not trickling down to the American people by any metric. So when you say the economy is good, you have to qualify who it's good for. It's
well, household incomes are up. Household incomes are up $5,000 over the first
unemployment's
3 years.
down. Unemployment's the lowest level.
8 years of Obama.
Unemployment when you're making $7.25 an hour and you're working 2 jobs and you're trying to go to school and you're walking dogs on the side. You know, yeah, unemployment's down, but what does that really mean when you're making $7.25
Sarah,
an hour?
our makeup artist, walks dogs on the side.
That's right.
Don't knock it.
Actually, I brought it up because we were talking about it before, and that's what it is. You know.
These guys are the best of the best. Josh Kravitz, Manny Alicandro, guys. Thank you so much. Manny's going to hang around. We got some breaking news in the Weinstein trial. Guilty on 3 counts. We'll break that all down for you right after this.